Hey guys, it is Monday. It's August 5th, 2019. It's about 11 a.m. This is your boy Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, aka Vulcan Wolverine 2. I'm having a little bit of trouble because I have these noise reduction hearing aids in, and it's reverberating my own voice. So be patient with me this morning. I realized that last week it was very traumatic. It's still very traumatic. I was going to do a live stream on the two consecutive shootings, like basically in one day, in El Paso and then Dayton. But it was just too much for me. It's so negative, and other people were reporting on it and giving the facts out of giving the supposed facts of what happened out. Excuse me, guys. So I kind of refrained from that. Just so horrible, and I have a lot of negative feelings about those two consecutive shootings. As a matter of fact, I want to show y'all something. I sound like Darth Vader, like reverberating in my head because of and so that's the whole point. I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet, guys. I have some good news, and I was wrong about the hearing aids. I did not use them long enough, which is weird. I think there's some remote neural manipulation stuff in there because usually when I try some defenses, I use it for a long time. With the noise canceling hearing aids, I used it for like a couple hours, and then I just totally tossed them aside. And I haven't even touched them since I told y'all, that they didn't work. That is not true. I used them for a lot longer, and I'll show y'all why I went back and used them. So I've used them for like 2 days, and I'm getting some really good relief, really good results with the V2k and with the pain from remote neural manipulation. So, but I did just want to say real quick, I did want to kind of, I don't know, I wanted to mention kind of just some feelings on the mass shootings. There's been 251 mass shootings in 2019. Y'all obviously know what I think. I think that there's mind control involved. I actually think there are multiple shooter false flags, and they have a mind controlled patsy that they put it all on. I can't prove those things, and the mainstream media would say that those are completely CTs, conspiracy. I don't even know if I want to say that word right. Um, Conspiracy theories, but so the negative thoughts that I have are that the system is going to use these mass shootings to target more individuals, and they're going to use it to bolster up DHS fusion centers and to get more good people to start gang stalking individuals because good people want to do something about this, right? The problem that we have is that good people who are ignorant of what's really happening in society, their energies will be redirected back into creating more mass shootings, right? Through more targeting more individuals, more gang stalking, and people won't know what's going on. They won't know that people are being hit with remote neural weapons, and these things will continue, they'll increase because good people who want to do something about it, their energies will be put back in to doing things to actually cause this. And I definitely don't want to make this about me. My gang stalking, I have 3 new people in my condo who started gang stalking me after the shootings and treating me very, very horrible, like they were lumping me in with the shooters, like they thought I was somebody that was capable of doing something like that. That's what happened when Cosmo, there was a shooting in my city in Baton Rouge a while back, and that's what happened. I had some trucks that almost ran me off the road because I'm a person of interest for DHS fusion centers. They lump us in, with somebody who is capable of maybe doing something like that. So this is very, very dangerous. It's not only very, very sad for the families that lost loved ones, for everyone who was hurt, but it's going to cause I hope it's not. I hope I'm wrong, but how I see it, it's going to cause more targeting. It's going to cause more justification to do this experimentation without the populace knowing about it. the way they have it compartmentalized. So really horrible. Just really horrible. Y'all know that. I it's affected. I mean, it's gonna affect all targeted individuals probably, because DHS Fusion Centers are going to be looking at those people as if they're like the people going out and doing these shootings. It's very bad for everyone. I do want to say, as a white male too, and I do think there was mind control involved with these people who did it. Um, all these shootings, probably a very good percentage of them had targeting, V2k, remote neural manipulation involved. I do want to say though, it's like, as a white male, if any of these people, they're completely, if there was no mind control involved, they're complete idiots, because this will make things worse for white males. People will see white males as more dangerous and everything like that. So I do not see how these people, like the guy who wrote the I can't think of what it's called. He wrote his statement before he went and did it, and I don't know if that's real. I don't know if an intelligence agency put that out so they could form some kind of narrative. I don't know. But it definitely won't make things better for white males. I just want to say that, as a white male, or targeted individuals. I just see this cycling. I see it as a horrible cycle, right? But I didn't want to do a live stream on it because it's traumatic for me. And looking at it, my attackers actually pumped up my targeting that night to show me they don't give a F. They don't care about it. They know what they're causing and they don't care. And so I'm not trying to bring this around to my targeting. It's very horrible. I think all we can do right now, I mean, we can try and get the truth out. The bottom line is that there's an underlying illness, right? And that's, remote neuroweapons torture, mind control programs, V2k telling people to go out and shoot people and stuff like that. But the public is like, oh, we got to take away guns, or we got to focus on mental illness. So the problems will only get worse unless the underlying disease is taken care of. So as targeted individuals, I know it's not justice. I know it's not fair. But since we do know that this is happening, and it's happening to us, and we know where these problems, we know the underlying problems, like the bottom line problem is people have to know about remote neuroweapons torture. They have to know about mind control, because it's causing all these evil things. And the departments, basically the contractors and the private contractors and subcontractors, they know that it's causing this. They're unaccountable because it's national security, and they've got clearances. So when they cause something like that, they don't tell anybody, and they just move on to the next target, and they try and get as much funding as they can from people's fear, right? And people will go along. Even good people will say, well, we need to monitor people, and we need to surveil them, and it's just going to cause more of it, because they don't understand that it's severe microwave torture, messing with people's minds and stuff like that, and then gang stalking them while that's going on. It's going to cause a lot more of this. So I know it's not justice, it's not fair. We already have the weight of the world on us, but we do have a responsibility to tell people what the bottom line illness, the sickness is, that has to be taken care of, so the horrible, hellish cycle of these mass shootings and violence and everything can stop. And I don't know. The public seems to not be accepting that this is happening, and yet they want to help. They want to do something to stop the horrible evil, but then they end up contributing to that evil because they don't have the knowledge of what's happening completely. So I just wanted to make those remarks on it. Very traumatic, very awful. I hope that it doesn't happen a lot more, but it seems like things are speeding up. Seems like things are speeding up. They're accelerating. The evil is accelerating. Good's got to get its ass in gear. Darkness rises. Wait, what? Yeah, darkness rises, and the light to meet it. But anyway, it's so awful. So I want to kind of offset the horrible, traumatic week of last week with some good news. The bottom line is I didn't use the noise canceling hearing aids long enough, and so I just threw them aside. I do, You know, it's like with my attacks and my remote neural manipulation, my attackers can't get me out to get, they can't get me to go out and do anything violent or anything like that. But they can kind of give me these impulses, right? And I do kind of think that's what happened. Like I used the noise canceling hearing aids for a little while, and I was like, this doesn't seem to be working. You know, so I threw them aside, and that's very unlike me because with Dave Case's CD, with the grounding, with other defenses, the cleansing, the direct transcranial stimulation, I'm always like, well, I've got to use it for a while to see, right? And I didn't do it with this one. I don't know what happened. I felt an urge that, oh, this doesn't work. So let me show you the video that made me go back. It made me go back and use these for 2 days. I didn't even put Dave Case's CD on. Didn't use the direct transcranial stimulation. I said I'm putting these hearing aids in, and I've used them for 2 days, and I've had amazing results with them still in. Now when I take them out, the results it doesn't seem to be a cumulative effect of breaking up the cycle that's going through our vestibular system. Let's listen to this video though. I want to show you all this video of why I went back and retried this. So this is why it's so important, if something is working for you, to speak out about it, because some people may have used it and, you know, for a little while, not long enough, and it seems to not work. But if people, you know, a lot of people try these things and we can all say, okay, this is what it did for me, then people will try it, right? So it's really good, like really good. And it's not only, it doesn't seem, okay, and I'm going to use it, I'm going to give y'all updates. I'm going to stick with this thing. You know, I'm going to kind of mix it, you know, take the hearing aids out sometimes and use Dave Case's CD because I think I still need to keep that going. But it's really, really working. I've used 2 days. I just put the hearing aids in, nothing else. Well, the grounding, I still have the grounding on. But I you know, been using them for 2 days to make sure to leave them in for a long time. And woke up this morning, hadn't listened to Dave Case's CD, had the grounding on still, but I woke up this morning, could not hear the V2k, could not hear it. Then I kind of woke up, started moving around, kept the hearing aids in. I went and actually got a coffee. I was celebrating, so I got a coffee from Starbucks, which that's celebration. Those are so expensive. And I could hear the V2k a little bit, but I could not make out what they were saying. Also, when I woke up, I usually wake up, even when I'm listening to Dave Case's CD and I have the grounding on, I'll feel pain down my spine, like a tingling, burning, twisting of the muscles pain up to my left side. That was severely reduced, like severely in a good way reduced, like reduced by like, I think like 70% or 75%, which is amazing. It does not feel like my attackers are messing around with me. It feels like they would just blow through this because they're I don't know, they're very impatient and stuff like that. It does not seem like it's that. But let's listen to this real quick. I got my headphones in, so weird reverberation, and I got my noise canceling hearing aids in. I don't know if you can see them. They kind of fit up behind the ear and then come in. And I've kept them in for 2 days. So let's listen to this real quick. I want to kind of keep this short. I didn't even really mean to go into the 2 recent mass shootings. I just couldn't make a video on it. I was like, people are getting out the information, and it's, you know, I feel like all the time, like that's what I make videos about. I make videos about like the worst things that are happening in society because I have to, because it's happening to me. And that when I was like, well, people are getting the information out, and I just, like emotionally, I felt just so traumatized from it. And I didn't even really mean to go into this video. But let's listen to this. Let's kind of it's going to take us a while to move past these things. I know this is so cliche, and I saw it in a lot of comments about the shooting, like on YouTube for the news reports and stuff, where people are like, oh, you know, all we do is say love and prayers out to the families, and then we don't take away guns and focus on mental illness. And I go, well, that's not the root cause. The root cause is people are under mind control. People are being tortured and false flagged, and then they get desperate and they do stuff like this. And I don't know if 100% of the 251 mass shootings for this year all had targeting, V2k, and remote neural manipulation involved, but I'd guarantee you it's a very high percent, over 50% of that, that's causing it. I'd say way over 50%. That's like a low balling it. And it's horrible, and my negative thought on it is it's going to get worse because good people want to do something about it, and then the system, which is very evil and corrupt, says more DHS fusion centers. We need to target more individuals. We need to surveil more individuals, and the people don't know about the horrendous microwave torture and that it's usually innocent people who are being targeted. So they're like, yeah, we need to watch dangerous people. See, so they're because they are ignorant of what's happening and the underlying causes of these illnesses in our society, these horrific things that are happening, they end up putting their energy back into negative things and causing more of it. And that's the whole plan. That's the whole Hegelian dialectic from the top. And targeted individuals have been saying this from many years ago, that this is what's going on. That they're trying to, the top-down system is trying to cause chaos in communities. They're trying to cause things like these mass shootings. And I think they're even doing more than just mind-controlling people to go out and do it. I think they're multiple shooters. Some of these agencies are involved in these false flags where people are actually shot. Not a false, and saying false flag is probably gonna, I don't know what it's gonna do to this video, but yeah, so really bad. People have to know the underlying illnesses. They have to know the underlying, the priority here, and I'll just say it, I'll just say it because I say it all the time. The priority here is remote neural weapons, targeting with directed energy weapons. People are gonna have to deal with that. For things to get better, for there to be any chance of these horrific things to stop happening, because it's being done to so many people, right? The targeting, the microwave weapons, and the remote neural manipulation. So let me play this because I want to get to the good news. You got to kind of play around with these noise canceling hearing aids because they'll kind of come out of the ear and stuff. But yeah, I'm having really good results, guys. So forget that video, with the cool spider thing. Forget that. They do work. I didn't use them long enough. So let's listen to this. Okay, let's get to it. So I can kind of keep this short.
.org podcast, and I'm your moderator, Ella. You can join us live, which I encourage everybody to do every Tuesday and Thursday, beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, by calling 515-606-5187, entering the ID 4000014#. Some people say, well, I already know that. I already called in. This is for people on YouTube who are curious on how to join us live. This is a solution, educational, activism-based podcast, but the views and opinions of my guests and participants are not necessarily my own personal views and opinions. And my goal is that everyone can obtain something out of tonight, especially the value of empowerment. So go ahead. You were giving some tips on things that work for you, because I know that you have kind of restored your life to some extent, and so I think it's very important to get it on recording.
So this is Mike.
Oh, definitely. So let me start from the beginning of how negative my life was. I mean, it was at a point where my mind was so convoluted that I couldn't think right. It was almost thinking for me. The thoughts were interjected. The words were coming in as I would speak. These perps that would speak. And of course, I felt like none of these thoughts are mine. And obviously, so what I learned was that there are definitely two different types of frequencies, right? There's the subliminal frequency and there's the emotional frequency that you have to deal with, and they're both on both sides of your ear.
So I do just want to mention, he has some theories about what's going on to the left and the right side. He also, has a theory that it's implants within the ear. Which I don't think so. I think maybe a very, very small percent of target individuals have implants directly in the ear, but it doesn't matter because microwave hearing is a signal from the brain to the inner ear, and then if you have an implant anywhere else, it's going to be a signal that goes up to the vestibular system, to the outer and inner ear as a pathway to the brain, right? So I don't think that a lot of target individuals have implants directly on the ears. Maybe a few, maybe a few, but the way that these weapons work, the way that the frequencies work, is they're going through the vestibular system, right? Even if they're doing something external, like an electromagnetic field around the head, it's conducting along the skin to the vestibular system, to the ears, to the eyes, and stuff like that. So, it doesn't matter that I disagree with him about so many target individuals having implants on their ears. It just matters the effects, like how the frequencies work, and they do go through the vestibular system. So the outer and inner ears, the pathway to the brain is very important, whether or not there's implants on them or not, right? So, that disagreement really doesn't matter, but I do not think that tons of target individuals have implants directly in their ears. They don't need to do that. They don't need to do that. But some target individuals, they may be doing a special protocol just for that or something like that. So some could have. I just don't think it's a large percentage. So and that's my hypothesis from what I've learned. I might be wrong. But let's listen to him.
So that's what I've learned over time. It took me about 5 years or so, but I've learned that. I started, the way I started was dealing with or listening to podcasts of just self-coaching, mentoring. Les Brown was a great mentor for me. So I would listen to Les Brown in the morning and just listen to motivational speeches throughout the entire day. And I realized that, being that this is self-driven and it's a supercomputer that drives these frequencies, so it's always going to drive, it's a script. So it's always going to drive you to be negative. But if you constantly think of positive things and if you're listening to positive podcasts, you're going to be on the positive side to begin with. Then I started realizing that you're being radiated, and I'm being radiated. So when I was being radiated, I realized that my testosterone level was down. My caloric level was going high up, meaning that my stress level was going higher and higher, right? I'm less able to enjoy life as it was. So what I started doing was started going to vitamin shop and taking, pills that would help me raise my testosterone level, help me get back into the gym. Once I started doing that, I got a little bit more better. And over time, I started playing with my ear because I realized that this is it's an internal implant that I have, right? I had implants on both sides of my ear. So I started.
So we really need to get imaging done. We really need to get a doctor that we can trust. That's, Dr. Hoffer. I'm trying to be as patient as possible. I'm going through all this, still trying to do stuff. We need to get imaging done because it can feel like you have an implant somewhere. But like I said, the way that this works, and we've all talked about this, and Dave Case has talked about this, the CD works this way, where they can just put a field around the head. It's conducting along the skin. It's going into the vestibular system. They can shoot directed energy straight into the ear. They can also, do basically electromagnetic transcranial stimulation, where it's doing a frequency to the brain, and then that's going down to the inner ear. So I just don't, I think that some target individuals may have implants in the ears. I just don't think they need to do that. They can work the frequencies through the vestibular system. Like, take this for example. Like if I had an implant in my tooth, or where my wisdom teeth were taken out, it's by a bunch of nerves in the trigeminal nerve and the vagus nerve. They send a frequency through that bundle of nerves, right, to the vestibular system. They wouldn't need an implant directly in the ear, but there might be an implant somewhere where they're sending a signal up a cluster of nerves to the vestibular system. So that does leave it open. Some target individuals might have some implants on the ears. I just don't think that they do that a lot. But we need further proof, right? We need imaging from doctors we can trust to concretely prove that, right? To get that evidence, because this stuff can feel a lot of different ways, and I've done it myself. I'm like, oh, I've got to have an implant here because I'm getting a lot of pain here or something like that. But we need more concrete proof, But that doesn't matter in this situation. What got me to retry the noise canceling hearing aids is that it worked for and that's more convincing than like, oh, I know exactly the details of how this works. It's just that something is effective. So that's the important thing. And Mike's a smart guy. I think we all kind of have, oh, well, I think it works this way, and my research has led me this way, and people are very certain that, oh no, it's this, and we just need to learn more. We just need to talk about those things and keep getting way more concrete evidence.
Playing around with my ears. And I ordered this device. It was a hearing aid. And I figured, okay, well, if this is an internal voice, right, what can I do to amplify the voice outside and see how that would help me? So I tried a hearing aid on both ears, and that helped me tremendously. So that's one solution. It's not going to take it away completely, but it's definitely going to help you. And if you have noise cancellation on these hearing aids, what it does is that these frequencies that are coming in, these are all wave files, right? Or not wave files, but these are audio files that are coming in. Okay, they're high frequency, low frequency, and they can get caught into these devices, these little hearing aid devices, right, which don't go completely into your ear. Okay, and you know this by turning the hearing aid just slightly to the right or to the left, and you'll hear it. You'll hear a noise coming in, and you know that there's a frequency coming in. And that will distract their frequency. It'll obstruct their frequency.
And it does.
And you'll get a little bit of relaxation from that. Then I started using all kinds of different earplugs. One that I've realized that worked the best was the silicone earplug.
Okay, so he goes on to talk about silicone earplugs, which I've got to try. I've heard that they work, and it's scientifically sound because, because with microwave hearing, you'd have a signal from the brain to the inner ear. It would be thermal. There'd be heat, right? And silicone absorbs heat. So if you have a silicone earplug, it's going to absorb some of that heat, and then it's going to absorb some of the intensity of what kind of voice to skull sound that can make to your inner ear, right? So that makes a lot of scientific sense. He also talks about an EMP pin. I can't find that. Like, I've tried looking on Amazon and I can't find the EMP pin. If anybody has found that, please leave it in the comments below, because I want to try these things that he's trying, because he's going through something very similar to me. But so I heard that. And I was like, okay, well, I only tried it for a couple of hours. I got to go back and try it longer. So that's what I've been doing for the last 2 days. Is I've just nothing else except the grounding. The grounding in my less EMF headgear I've had on, and I've used the hearing aids for the first couple of hours of the first day. It didn't really seem like it was doing much, but with that constant frequency, that cancellation frequency that the hearing aid's putting out, by 2 nights ago, like through the first day, I started to get a lot of relief. Not only the V2k, which I could, like right now, I can barely hear. I can't make out what they're saying. I hear a little like that, but I can't make out exactly the phrase they're saying. And also, when I woke up this morning, the intense pain down the left side of my back and spine and over here, it was severe, greatly reduced. I don't want to say severely, because severely is usually bad, right? Greatly reduced, and I wasn't listening to Dave Case's CD. Now, could my attackers be turning things off? Maybe, but it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't. It feels like it's really giving some relief. It's really interfering with the cycle, right? They're creating this cycle in the vestibular system that's like running through the outer and inner ear, or just the inner ear if you're getting microwave hearing. But there's ways that it can run through the outer and inner ears, and it feels like these noise cancellation hearing aids, they're adding interference. So that video that I made a while back, I think it was like a week ago. No, I didn't use it long enough. And I'm going to continue to use it. I'll probably switch Dave Case's CD out, because it seems like right when you take the hearing aid out, the V2k comes back. Like, it's like an almost instantaneous thing. Maybe as I go along, or some of us go along and try this, it might have a cumulative effect, but I'm not experiencing that cumulative effect like Dave Case's CD does. So I think I'm going to have to also not just completely stop using Dave Case's CD. I'm going to have to switch these out, and then it's going to create kind of a problem for my attackers, right? Because I'm going to be interfering with the frequencies with the noise canceling hearing aid, and then for when I go to sleep or something, I'll use Dave Case CD. That's a different frequency interruption, and it'll keep them on their toes. It'll kind of keep adapting with them. So all right, guys, and the kind that this is the kind that I bought. When I bought them, they were $80. Like, they were $80 when I bought them. Now it's $110, and I find that that's happening. And I'm not saying this is gang stalking or anything like that, but I'm like, the grounding stuff that I bought, that went up like double in price or something like that. And then these are way more expensive now. They're $110. When I got them, they were $80. There's some that are like $50, but just make sure when you get them And I recommend these. I recommend trying this, especially for targeted individuals with V2k. But even if you don't have V2k, I feel like this is I mean, and it's a marked difference. It's a marked difference after a long period of time of leaving them in, where it's actually affecting some of the pain stuff, and even some of the emotional stuff. Like it's interfering with that cycle in the vestibular system for me. So these are Britsco digital hearing amplifier, battery saving hearing device aid your life, energy efficient personal amplifier and digitally controlled. So it says personal sound hearing amplifier, see noise canceling technology. So make sure there's some $20 ones, there's some $50 ones. I'm sure there's still some $80 ones. These were $80 when I bought them. Looks like their list price is like $500. So I don't know. I would go for something in the $50 range. I tried to go for something in the $80 range. Now that's $110. But when you do try them, I really recommend this, guys. But just stick with it. Like, and that's what I'd say for Dave Case's CD, the grounding, and if you do try the transcranial stimulation device, what's it called, the CES Ultra, stick with them. Like, I always do that. I don't know why I didn't do that for this one. It really smacks of remote neural manipulation. I think, like, my attackers can't make me go out and do anything, but it's like they can kind of insert an impulse that will make me go, oh, okay, well, I don't know how much they're doing that to me. It all kind of mixes in and gets really confusing, but I think there was something kind of going on there with this. But fortunately, Mike, did that interview, and I was like, well, it's working so good for him, and he's so sure about it. And even though I might think some different things are going on with how this is done, that doesn't matter. The effects, like him saying, this gave me relief, that's the important thing, right? So just make sure, when you're looking for them, make sure you get two, because they sell one. They sell lots of single hearing aids, so make sure it says you get two, a 2 count. And then make sure it says noise canceling technology. If you are a targeted individual with voice skull, I really recommend these. I did not use them for long enough. I don't know, I don't know. It just feels like remote neural manipulation where I didn't want to tell people something that didn't work 100% because but it does. This works. I would try it. And you can get some cheap ones. You can get some like $20 ones and just try it. I'm still gonna talk to Dr. Hoffer, right, and see if there's like a better kind that's specifically for noise cancellation, or I'm gonna kind of ask him like, okay, which one would be the best. And if he says, oh, this one's really good, the one, I'm going to bring him the ones that I have and say, these work pretty good. They work well. It's giving me relief and stuff, but is there a better kind, right? So I'm still going to ask him. Yes. So I bring you glad tidings, some good news to offset, the darkness that's going on right now, because it's very dark in America, and I'm sure for any targeted individual in any country, things suck. But we got to keep fighting. We got to keep doing our best, and this is good, hopeful news. I did not try it for long enough, so I just sat, and it is weird because I haven't touched them since I made that last video, and that's not like me either. So it's kind of making me go, it's things that make you go, but I pushed, heard Michael's testimony. I was like, okay, boom, everything else gone. I'm going to sit there and try them, and it does offer relief, but you got to stick with it, right? You got to stick with it. Okay, guys, that's all I have for now. I'm going to try and do like a live stream soon or something. I don't even know if Google Hangouts is still there, because I haven't tried to do it. I couldn't. Like, the first shooting happened. And as I was watching it as it unfolded, like on YouTube with the local channels there, and I was like, oh man, I'm not going to make a video on this. It's so bad, and everybody's going to be, getting the information out anyway, and we go through so much negative stuff. And then it was like the second I woke up that night, it's really weird. My attackers like kind of woke me up at about 2 that night, and the shooting in Dayton had happened at like 1. So I kind of like woke up, used the bathroom, checked out. I kind of turned on my computer, and I saw people reporting that one too, and I was like, oh man, I guess I have a lot of thoughts about what's going on there. There's an underlying illness of these torture programs. It's making people do crazy things, but it's not only that. It's that, the agencies in every country, they do false flags and they really kill people. And I know that's the mainstream news is like, don't listen to anybody, only listen to the Associated Press, only listen to government officials, don't listen, because they don't want people talking about it. But I feel like to honor the victims, to honor the people who died, the root cause must be addressed. The root cause must be addressed, and there's so much evidence that these torture programs are going on, these mind control programs are going on. It's not unfounded conspiracy theory, it's the truth. And as long as the public does not know about that, and they think it's just mental illness, or we just need to take away semi-automatic weapons from people or whatever, it's going to continue and it's going to get worse. Because they're good people who are like, man, I want to do something about that, right? They'll hear about a gang stalking program, which is called patrolling or community policing, and they're like, yeah, we need to watch people. And they don't understand that the people that they're watching are probably innocent and being tortured with microwaves, and then they're being gang stalked, and then it causes more things like this to happen. It has to be addressed. People have to talk about it. It has to be done. I know that people are scared. Now I'm not talking really to targeted individuals. I know there are some targeted individuals that don't really want to speak up and stuff like that. There's definitely more of the normal public that's just afraid, just really afraid, and they're going to go along with what the system's doing. They're going to be like, I want to get into a group and I want to help, but I'm going to do what's socially acceptable, right? And that's where the system gets us by policy. The power buildup is policy and fear. Policy and fear. They keep people from doing the right thing, from looking into things that actually are happening, because the mainstream media will be like, oh, there's crazy people talking about mind control and stuff like that. That's conspiracy theory, and you're not allowed to talk about that. It's socially unacceptable, and people will go, okay, that's socially unacceptable, so let's go gang stalk, or maybe we need to surveil more people, and it's going to entail this microwave torture, and then more and more of these things are going to happen. I say that as a person who, I'm never going to do anything like that. I'm a targeted individual. My attackers want me to do something like that. Like, they want me to go out and do something violent, and they would just move. They would not tell anybody. They'd be completely unaccountable for what they had done in that, and then they would move on to the next targeted individual. It will never happen. It will never happen. This, I'm telling you guys, and I know I'm really preaching to the choir, and I'm talking to a lot of people who would never do those things. I wish that I could talk to a bigger audience of young white men, or just young men in general, but it seems to be like this very scary narrative. It's always a young white male, and then they don't really shoot mass shootings that aren't young white males. Don't really get in the news. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. I don't know if it's just the truth, and it's really bad for me. It's really bad for me as a white male and a targeted individual. It's really bad for all people everywhere, white, black, Asian, purple. It's bad for us all, but especially it's really bad for white males. It makes us look horrible. It makes people scared that we're going to go off and do something bad. Just causes a lot of division and fear in society. I feel like it will get worse if people do not understand the underlying problem. Targeted individuals understand the underlying problem, and people need to listen to us, because this is serious. It's serious business. That's kind of why I didn't make a video about it. It's so serious, and I'm in so much pain, and I'm just like, people are already talking about it, and it's a negative topic for me right now. I can't see it in any way except negative, and we need hope. We need real hope. Everybody, not just targeted individuals. So I was kind of waiting on it. I talked about it a little bit. I may talk about it some more. It's a very serious issue, and we're not it does not look right now like from these incidents, it doesn't look like the public is going to get the right information about what the underlying causes of this stuff are, and they're going to keep putting in more. They're going to keep up they're going to more gang stalking, more money to DHS fusion centers, more surveillance of targeted people, targeted individuals, and then these contractors and subcontractors are going to compartmentalize the actual microwave torture and remote neuroweapons, so the people participating in it all don't know the whole story, but they think that they're helping. They think that they're helping to stop mass shootings when they're creating more of them, and I feel like that's going to continue. It's going to get worse because people are not addressing the socially unacceptable root cause, is that there's false flags where agencies are actually involved in this stuff, and there's mind control. There's remote neuroweapons doing this to people. Maybe they already had extreme beliefs before, right? Maybe they had racist or extremist views before, but then those things are amplified. Remote neural manipulation, I think that it can also, me and a friend were talking about it last night, and he was saying, yeah, I think it just amplifies things that are maybe already there, but it makes them a lot worse. I kind of think that it can inject things that were never there, things that the person was never capable of doing. So I know we all kind of have ideas about that, but we've got the right thing to do here, even though it's like, oh man, they're taking it. The mainstream media would, if they heard me saying this, they'd say, whoa, that's way unfounded and that's dangerous and that's dishonoring the families. They're going to jump on top of that because that's social engineering is going to create that. Where, hey, you can't look into these incidents, you got to listen to government officials because you're dishonoring the families, right? No, we're honoring the families by getting to the root causes, by stopping this stuff, by making sure it doesn't happen again. And that is just fact. It's just fact. No amount of social engineering or false flagging or whatever, or lies and propaganda can stop what is right. It is right to say what is really happening, for those families that lost family members, for the people that died. It is important to say, whoa, we got to look into this. What the hell is going on here? Two horrible mass shootings basically in one day, and then 251 in 2019. You think that has nothing to do, and I'm not saying, I know you guys understand this stuff, but if I was talking to somebody who was very on board with, what's socially acceptable, you think those 251 mass shootings, you don't think there was anything weird going on there? You think people are just going insane? It's just time for people going insane. It's all about, people just being more racist and stuff like that, and there's no underlying cause behind that. There's no underlying evil, an unseen evil, because there is, because there definitely is. So, all right, guys. So let's focus on this one. I had to talk about it. I had to kind of get it out. I was really hesitant because I'm just struggling to face my own torture and stuff like that, and I don't like jumping on those really negative things, and I knew a lot of people were already reporting it, so I really hesitated on that, and I was trying to see if these hearing aids, these noise canceling hearing aids work, but I'm probably going to have to talk about it a little bit more, because it's bad, it's really bad, and targeted individuals know the underlying problem. Deceit, false flags, mind control. Mind control. I'll say it now. Like I've had trouble saying that because I don't want people, but it's mind control. Some people are different with how they respond to this stuff. I'm never going to go out and do something like that, but people are different. Their brains work differently. Young people, right? Like if I was a teenager and was, I think that I got a little bit messed with and manipulated when I was a teenager, but I didn't get full-fledged targeting, remote neural manipulation, V2k, like Nicholas Cruz. These young monsters, it's hard to call them monsters because I know how powerful this technology is and how it can really extremize belief. I don't know if that's the right word, but it can pump up somebody's negative beliefs or something like that. I think they're monsters because they didn't find another way. I really do. That's kind of my bottom line. Even with Myron May and stuff like that, maybe some of you guys comment if you don't agree with me, but there's always another way, no matter how bad you feel. no matter how bad you think things are going, because any of these violent things, and I've said it a million times, they're going to make things worse for us. They're going to make things worse for all of the middle class and lower class. They're going to make things extremely bad. And in awareness and letting people know and being strong and being assertive and saying the truth and doing things like making channels or conference calls or organizations to do class action suits, fighting it on a level where people say, those are good people and they didn't go straight to violence. We need to help them and we need to join in. It's the only way, guys. I mean, okay. I don't want to go into that too much. I already kind of went into it more than I wanted to. It's horrible. It's horrible, and prayers and love to those families. A lot of people are going to want to help and to fix these things and to stop them, as long as they don't know the underlying cause. As long as they don't know about these targeting programs and what they're doing to people, and false flagging to the deception involved. It will never stop. Any good person who doesn't know the full story and then starts to work for a DHS fusion center or something like that because they want to stop crime in their community, but then they start harassing an innocent person that's being microwaved to death, they're going to cause more of this. They're going to cause more of these things, and that's what's been happening. It's this problem, reaction, solution, but to the higher ups, the solution, right, is never a solution for us. It's always about more control and more money and more justification for control of human beings and for what they want to do, experimentation and torture and things like that. So the problem, reaction, solution keeps going on, but it's only to grab more power, more control, more money, and things like that from bad people. That's their solution, right? It's not a solution for us. It's not peace in our communities or anything like that. It's a bad cycle. It's a bad cycle, right? Yeah, I just feel really negative about all that. I just, right now, I mean, take this with a grain of salt. I think it's going to get worse. I think people are going to ignore this underlying problem of mind control. It's not socially acceptable to talk about it, and then it's going to cause more dangerous situations. Good people are going to put their energies into doing things to cause these things without knowing, unwittingly, right? And then some people are very wittingly doing it. My attackers saw this, and I was watching the shootings. They don't give a damn. They know that they're causing stuff like that, and they don't care. With my attackers, it seems like it's just because they have orders. They don't care what's happening. They don't care. They just don't care. They actually torture me a lot more. I was feeling very negative from it, so it could have been kind of that. But it felt like they turned up the heat because they knew it was a lot of trauma, right? And that's what we've also got. We can look at it as targeted individuals, and our attackers try and put trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma, so we can't even think. And then they can try and control our emotions more. The remote neural manipulation, right? So on a big scale, right? On a countrywide scale, trauma. People can't think. And then they're more controllable. They're more controllable, maybe not some of them by these weapons, right? But they're more psychologically controllable when it's trauma, fear and desperation, and then the system can get them to do whatever it wants them to do, right? Then it can say, oh, well, this action and talking about this is not socially acceptable. You got to go this way, right? So we got to look at that because it's a cycle, and it looks like 2 mass shootings in one day. They want to speed it up. They want trauma because they want to take guns. That's a fact. That's a fact. People say, oh, the conspiracy theorists say that the left want to take the guns, right? The system wants the leadership of the United States wants to take guns away. They do. The military-industrial complex, maybe not our president and some Republicans and the NRA, they want us to keep our guns, and there's a lot of politicians and stuff that want us to keep our guns, and a lot of people in America. But the military-industrial complex, the DOD, the Pentagon, and all these people who are trying to do full-spectrum dominance in our country, right? And they're trying, other military-industrial complexes of other countries are trying to do full-spectrum dominance. They want our guns. They want them all. and they want to start a slippery slope. They want those semi-automatic weapons so they can say, well, we wrote this bill, and look, there's something in this bill that says we can go to the next stage and take these kind of guns. They definitely want to do that, and they definitely want more control, and they want more money put into these programs, and they want more money put into DHS fusion centers. It's a fact. That's what this whole cycle and all these mass shootings, and I don't know exactly the details. I've heard multiple shooter accounts on both situations where people saw people in black garb, like black SWAT gear, but then one guy was caught and it's one person, and they have to keep it one person because they have to make it the fault of the gun, right? They have to make it the fault of the AR-15. It's the AR-15 because it was one person and look how many people he killed. So they can't say, oh well, there were 3 shooters, because then they wouldn't really be able to blame the gun as well. It was 3 crazy people, and the guns didn't matter because they were going to kill a lot of people anyway, right? So they have to keep it one shooter. Very insane. It's insane. I keep saying these are just negative thoughts that I have. They're not true. We can fight these things, and there are miracles that can happen, a lot of positivity. But I keep seeing that I don't know the word, but terraforming or person forming. They're forming the population of the world where psychopaths can survive, but really empathetic people are going to be crushed by severe trauma and emotion because we let everything in, right? How I see it is like we're going to have to develop new emotions. We're going to have to adapt. We can't become psychopaths, and we can't become emotionless. It's not possible for me. It's not possible for you guys. I know it. We're going to have to adapt and ascend our emotions to be able to take this trauma and keep doing what's right and keep knowing what's right, right? And we've got to somehow spread that to the public. We've got to spread it to the public no matter how socially unacceptable it is. It's people's lives are in danger right now. They're gone. People are gone because of those shootings. They're gone. They're gone forever. And these programs and intelligence agencies don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about any of us. They don't give a damn about any of us. They don't care about the people microwaving me right now. They don't care about the gang stalkers. They don't care about those shooters that did this. They don't care about the people that they shot. They don't care about anybody. They have an agenda. They have an agenda from up top, the top of the pyramid, and it's pressing down on all of us. It's creating chaos and death. The underlying causes of these diseases. I had some kind of metaphor about cancer, right? And it's like if you had some kind of rash and you had this horrible cancer in your body, these mass shootings, it's like scratching that rash and taking a knife and cutting into the skin of the rash and getting that infection going to then make the body sicker from the cancer instead of dealing with the cancer. I don't know if that really works, but y'all know what I'm saying. It's not only trying to take care of some little thing on the top of the main illness, it's making the illness worse. It's like it's making the illness worse. What the system is doing, it's a cycle of making things worse, of causing more mass shootings, pumping up these programs, pumping up DHS fusion centers. They're going to use this. They're going to use these mass shootings to try and take away guns from good citizens who can protect us, who would be there when a mass shooter came in. And they're going to try and target more individuals from it. They're going to try and target more people and use this as a justification. And good people are going to be tricked. They're going to be tricked unless this can get out more. We're going to keep trying, and there's hope and there's miracles. This is a good thing. I feel negative about the public because I think there's more mind control than just direct mind control, than just direct remote neural manipulation. And it's really, really affecting the whole population. Television propaganda and certain things that they're inserting into when you're watching TV, your computers and your iPhones and stuff like that. There's other mind control that everybody is getting, right? But all right, okay. I wanted to keep it short, guys, but I really did need to get that out. It's horrible, horrifying. I laid in bed for 2 days, trying this. I was like, I'm just gonna try this, and just horrible feeling, just horrible feel. I mean, obviously the targeting, but horrible to see both those shootings in one day. Um, we've got to do good, and we've got to help people to honor those people who died, not to honor the shooters. That's a complicated thing. I mean, I think there's some manipulation in there, but as a targeted individual, I can refrain from doing violence. I don't see why anybody else can't, and I don't see how anybody, even if they were, mind controlled, even if they had remote neural manipulation, they couldn't see that something so violent is going to screw over everybody. It's only going to give power to those people above the not above us, but have more money than us and more resources. The DoD and the Pentagon, it's going to give them more power to do whatever the hell they want to do to any individual in the United States. And they'll keep a big percentage that are not being directly targeted, so they think things are getting done, right? And they'll even gang stalk, and they'll join up with these agencies if the agencies tell them enough lies, like, oh, you're stopping these mass shootings, go and gang stalk that person, they're crazy or whatever, and they'll do that, but they'll be gang stalking a person who's innocent, being tortured and remote neural manipulated, and who knows how many targeted individuals are out there seeing these mass shootings and their brains are all messed up. I'm probably not talking about anybody who watches my videos. That's why sometimes when I say these things, it's like I'm saying them because I wish I could say them to people outside, because I've got a lot of smart people, smart targeted individuals, and just smart people who watch my videos, and I know they resonate with me. We're going to find a better way, right? But I sometimes wish that I could speak to young white males. I'm not trying to be racist, but it's looking like that's the big ones in the news, right? And I would tell them, you're not going to help any other white males in the world, and or anybody really, but you're gonna really make people like think that white males are crazy, and really, it's going to cause a lot of division and stuff like that. You're not going to help anybody, and I wish that they would understand this. But then there's also the mind control aspect in there. So I monsters, I mean, yeah, I do. My bottom line is they're monsters. There's always a better way. But when you have a teenager or somebody who's 21, I don't know. If I was hit with this stuff full force, the world seems very small when you're 21. The world seems very small when you're like 15 or 17. And other people's lives don't seem that important. I don't know. It was different for me, but I just think about it was different when I was younger, and I don't know what would have happened. Now that because I figured it out when I was older. It started, it was overt when I was older. I didn't even know I was being targeted when I was younger. But so, and there you go, right? There you go. Maybe right when I went to college, I was getting pain in my jaw and stuff like that, but not the high-pitched sound. If I was a different kind of person, who knows? People are different. They react to this stuff differently, and it's an underlying cause. It's the definite underlying cause of all these mass shootings and all this violence. We got to take care of this, and the public has to know about it if we ever want to be safe. If we ever want to even try and go back to safety in our communities, this is it's really bad. It's really, really bad. We've got to just keep doing the best that we can. Targeted individuals with V2k, even if you don't have V2k, because this is affecting the cycle in my vestibular system that's helping the remote neural manipulation. Please try some noise canceling hearing aids. Just stick with it. Don't use them for a couple of hours, like 2 hours like I did, and toss them aside. So alright guys, that's it for right now. I'll be doing some more stuff. Tons of targeted individuals getting out so much great information, next level, doing some great interviews, just everybody doing a lot of great stuff. So there's a lot of hope. These things are so tragic. It's like we've got to go through them. It's like we can't just move on right away. All those innocent families hurt, and then who knows what the hell was going on with those shooters? Who knows? Who knows what they were? What kind of program they were being put in? Who knows if they were patsies with multiple shooters around them? I don't know. A lot of people are reporting on that, so I'm just going to kind of give my overall views of the bottom line illness. There's these targeting programs. They're messing around with people, microwaves to the brain, messing them up. So they get desperate. Maybe V2k is telling them. Nicholas Cruz said, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of this stuff from these other shootings. Nicholas Cruz said that his voices in his head told him which way to go into the school, told him which door to take. They were helping him to actually do it. And if that's these agencies, these contractors and subcontractors are just allowed to make somebody commit murder and not stop it, like Myron May, like Nicholas Cruz, that's what's causing this. That's the underlying cause. I'm preaching to the choir. All you guys who watch my videos basically know this stuff. We got to find some way. We're Jor-El here. We're Jor-El. I was going to make a video saying that, we're Jor-El, from Superman's dad, saying this is going to happen. This is what's happening right now. And everybody's like, oh, you crazy old fool, So, that's the deal. That's the underlying cause. These remote neural manipulation, mind control programs is making things crazy in the communities, and good people are confused about where to fit in to help because they're being told where to fit in by governmental agencies that are trying to cover up all this shit, right? And so they're doing things that they think are going to help, but are actually making things worse. Kind of like my mom loves me a lot, right? This is a very small example. It's nowhere near compared to people dying. Being killed in a mass shooting, right? Because I am being tortured to death. But my mom wanted to keep me into the short-term behavioral center, or the loony bin, or whatever, way years ago, for an extra week because she was worried about me, right? And it wasn't good for me. I was getting murdered in there by the remote torture and stuff like that, but she wanted to help, right? She's a good person. Her energies were directed because she didn't have the full information of what was happening, and it actually hurt me. And we passed that. My mom is helping me. She understands this now, but you see that example, right? Somebody that loves somebody, that wants to help, but they don't have full information, so then their actions actually hurt, right? And that's what we've got going on in this system on a bigger scale with these mass shootings, and then people wanting to step in and help. But the system, governmental agencies, the military-industrial complex, DHS fusion centers say, oh, okay, you want to help? Well, you need to start gang stalking, or you need to sign up with one of these contractors and surveil somebody's brain with microwaves. It's what's going to help, right? And it just causes more of this stuff. So, all right, guys, I love y'all. I'll definitely see y'all in the next one. It does. I stuck with these noise canceling hearing aids. It gives relief. Not completely gone. Like right now, I can hear like of the voices, but I can't make out what they're saying. Also, my back. Like I'm serious. So I recommend it. I recommend getting like a $50 pair. $50 pair. Make sure they say noise canceling technology. I'm going to keep working with these and intermixing them with my other defenses. So we got a bunch of options now, guys. We got grounding. You got noise canceling hearing aids that can stop even if you don't have V2k. I think it's cutting into this cycle in the vestibular system. So you got the noise canceling hearing aids. You got Dave Case's CD. You got a transcranial stimulation device. You got cleansing. You got supplements, much headgear from less EMF. We've got some options, guys. So pick some and start with them. This is not hopeless, right? Like our target is not hopeless. I don't know. I kind of see our society and how people are going to react to these mass shootings, and they're going to create more of this stuff. I see that as kind of hopeless. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of waiting on God. I'm trying to do my best with this situation, right? I mean, we can't save the world, but I'm very negative about what's going on in our society. I think we all are right now. I think we all are. Devastating. And then, like, for targeted individuals, that kind of trauma on top of this trauma of what's going on and how it's going to put us, it's directly affected my targeting. And I'm not trying to make this about me. We got to put focus on the families that lost loved ones, the people who died, figuring out the root cause. We got to figure that out. But, 3 people who never gang stalked me started gang stalking me right after those shootings. And they looked at me, and I walked out, and this guy, this older guy, he's not as old as the older guy who says, hey, Podna. That guy was gang stalking me a lot worse. And they weren't talking to me. Like, I'd be like, hey, how you doing this morning? And they just looked at me like I was one of the, seriously. And it not just a psychological thing. They literally were lumping me in with that situation because I'm the person of interest in our area. And so things have gotten worse for me. So targeted individuals, think about that. If you ever think about doing violence, it makes things worse for every targeted individual. And, I don't know these guys. If you're doing anything, like just don't do it. It's really stupid. It's stupid, and that's why I think mind control is involved. It extremizes these people, and they somehow get these twisted thoughts that it's somehow going to help or make them famous. I guess, me and my target individual friend were talking about that too. I think some of these guys, they may have a thing where they want people to remember them or remember their name or something like that. So they might know that it's not going to do any good, for the people they want to help, right? All right, guys, I love y'all. So I'll see y'all in the next one. I kind of got to get it out and talk about it. But the main thing, oh gosh, an hour, really? Well, main thing about this video though, guys, is the noise canceling hearing aids. I went back and tried them for a long period of time. They do work. They do work. It may not work 100% for you. I woke up without being able to hear the V2k, and it doesn't seem like this game, but I'll give updates. So I definitely don't, want to X that out. What I did a week ago and said don't get them. I can't recommend them. No, I do recommend them. I'm gonna keep giving updates on them. It may not make things go. It's not making things go away 100% for me, but it's giving me a lot of relief in a lot of ways that I didn't even realize. And listen to this too. Listen to the interview. Got targeting. Mike shares how he was able to combat targeting on his own. So go to Ella's channel and look up that video. I'll put it in the description too for the video. I love you guys. Let me go ahead and end it because I'm getting really long-winded. I kind of need to get that stuff out. Maybe I'll put in the title noise canceling hearing aids, Redux, and recent mass shootings. Yeah. All right, guys. I love y'all. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of options for defense, and there's more to come. Like, I know I'm right about that. Like, I've been saying it for a long time because I've found stuff. I've been right about some things. I've been wrong about some things, but like, I'm right about that even if this program doesn't end completely, there's going to be way more solutions, even than the vast array of solutions we have right now that work a lot. But you got to stick with these things. I heard a targeted individual say a while back, if something doesn't work immediately, then it doesn't work. That's not true. I completely disagree with that. I like the guy too. He's smart about a lot of stuff. It's hard to know with this stuff, but what I've experienced is that that's the opposite. If it doesn't work right away, keep trying it for a week. Because they have this stuff built up in layers on us, right? The attacks are built up in layers, and it's a cumulative conductivity of our skin, cumulative buildup in the vestibular system. This cycle, it's a built-up cycle, so it's going to take a while for some of these defenses to actually cut into it, right? Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it. I love y'all. I just hope y'all are doing good, staying strong, finding things to give you hope and strength. It's gonna take a long time to get past these two recent mass shootings. They're so terrible. It's so terrible that I didn't even want to get on a video and talk about them. I was just like, it's gonna cycle out the trauma, and the news is everywhere anyway. Hard decisions about that stuff because we need to stay informed, but I don't want to bring any targeted individuals down. I don't want to just keep throwing negative stuff in people's faces. So we got to be careful about that too. We just got to try and find a balance. I'll say it. Let me go ahead and say it. Darkness rises, and the light to meet it. I love that. I've been on a Star Wars kick. I sound like Darth Vader or Kylo Ren in my ears right now. All right, guys. I love y'all. I'll see you on the next one. Just stay strong. Stay strong, guys.